It's Thursday, March 18th, 2021. We got real problems, ladies and gentlemen. This economy is worse than most of us even think it is. We saw more problems in the stock market today. We got more economic bad news. We'll talk about that in a second. But before I start this video, please give this video a thumbs up. Make sure that you subscribe to this channel. If you want to support this channel, support the message, subscribe to this channel, hit that bell notification. Also check out my Patreon channel. I'll be uploading another video in the next 24 to 48 hours on Patreon. Thank you so much for everybody that's come over to Patreon and is really helping to support the message. But let's talk about today. And you know, I know that these videos are not always uplifting, and they're not meant to be. They're meant to make you think. They're meant to wake you up. They're meant to make you prepare for what is coming. I wish I had a brighter message. I wish I was one of these people who had a car channel and could drive around in a car and go to Cars and Coffee and all the car shows, and that's fun and that's great. And maybe at some point I'll do something like that. But right now, my concern is waking up as many people as I can to get as many people prepared for this collapse that has already begun. You know, if you watched Jerome Powell yesterday and the Fed, they assured all of us that there is going to be no tapering. The Fed has no plan in slowing down the money printing. They're not slowing down quantitative easing. In fact, they're going to do quite the opposite. They are going to ramp it up. We are going to see more stimulus, more quantitative easing, more money printing, more helicopter money, call it whatever you want. But there is no tapering going on. There is no raising rates going on. We are going to see them ramp it up. We are going to see them print so much money. And yet we have people on the television, as I was watching today, telling us how great everything is. Manufacturing now is booming. I don't know what we're manufacturing here, but now we're booming in manufacturing. The economy is soaring back. When you watch these people, they continue to assure us that everything is going to be okay. What happens when it turns out that these people are wrong? If you're listening to these people, I hope that you see the light. I hope that you begin to critically think for yourself and question things. Because if you start looking out the window, if you take a drive around town, if you take a look around at the epidemic of homelessness, the epidemic of vacant buildings, the banks that are closing in your town, the amount of people reliant on a stimulus check just to eat now, when you begin to connect the dots, you notice that something is very, very wrong. If things weren't bad, if there was nothing wrong right now, they wouldn't be pumping in another $1.9 trillion. How much now, with all these stimulus packages, have they pumped into the economy in the stock market? $8 trillion? $8 trillion. If things were so good, why did they have to inject $8 trillion into this economy and these markets? And it's not working. This is one of the biggest stories of the day, although when you watch the news this evening, nobody's going to report it. I watched a couple business channels this morning. Nobody even talked about it. I had to search for it. Jobless claims unexpectedly jumped despite relaxed economic restrictions. 770,000 people filed first-time jobless claims last week. This is with the U.S. economy opening up, and we lost another 770,000 jobs. There's always a handful of people, all these little keyboard warriors, that just tell me everything's okay, don't be negative. Oh, it's the same message, it's more doom, it's more gloom. And again, those people are probably the biggest followers of this channel. So thank you. I hope you stick around. Thank you for the view. But I really pray for you people, because if you cannot see what's going on, if you're just doing nothing to prepare for what's coming. I feel really, really sorry for you. 770,000 people filed first-time jobless claims last week. And my heart goes out to those people. You know, again, these people who just continue to tell us nothing's wrong, don't be negative, you shouldn't be talking about this. 770,000 people just hit crisis mode. These people now, how do they pay the bills? How do they pay the credit card? How do they keep the repo man away from taking their car? How are they paying rent? How do they pay their mortgage? How do they eat? Now they got to get in line and wait for weeks, maybe months, to get unemployment benefits. The lines are so long, the systems are overloaded, they can't keep up, and people have had to wait months to just get their first unemployment check. So again, the system is melting down. It is just so unfortunate to see 750,000 people lose their jobs last week, and now their life, their economy is collapsing. Now these people are extremely worried. And this is just a reminder that maybe you're working right now, maybe you have some money put away. This can happen to any one of us tomorrow. This is not the time to be gambling. This is not the time to be wasting money. This is not the time to be taking chances. This can happen to anybody. And we're going to see so many people not just lose their jobs, we're going to see people who are going to be evicted, who are going to lose their homes, who are going to be on the streets of America. People who thought it could never happen to them. People who drove a BMW, a Lexus, a Mercedes, are now under the threat of being homeless. And we've got 12 million people who are severely delinquent on rent. 12 million renters who have family members. That's 44 to 48 million people who could be evicted. If you do not have family, friends, or a church to fall back on, you're in big trouble. So if you have the means right now, the ability, do what you can to prevent this. You need to have a cash reserve put away. You need to get the debts paid down. You need to have some assets put away. You need to have a network of people. Again, the economy is opening up, and we lost more jobs last week than the week before, which was 712,000. The Hedge today, over 18 million Americans are still on government jobless benefits, and it's not getting better. Please comment down below. What's the real unemployment number in America? Is it 18 million? Is it 20 million? Is it 10 million? Is it 50 million? 60 million? I keep seeing a lot of people saying it's 60 million. Texas was decimated last week with jobless claims. They led the way with jobless claims, then Illinois, Virginia, Indiana, and California, all leading the country in jobless claims. 53 straight weeks of over 700,000 people filing for unemployment. And you think that this economy is recovering? You think it's going to recover with 53 straight weeks of over 700,000 people applying for first-time unemployment benefits, and nobody is talking about it. I watched a couple hours of business channels today. Nobody even brought it up. Absolutely incredible. Yet we're watching 10-year bond yield at about 1.70 right now. Look, they're going to have to start printing a lot more money and buying a lot more bonds here, because if they do not get this bond yield under control, there is going to be very, very big trouble. And there is so much trouble out there right now. It is going to take one thing to trigger an event, and a bubble's going to burst, and then we're going to have multiple bubbles bursting. The Hedge today. Ford to move $900 million plant from Ohio to Mexico. I couldn't believe this. A $900 million investment for an Avon Lake, Ohio assembly plant now going to Mexico. Could there be a worse time you would possibly do this? This is, at this plant, this is where they manufacture F-650 and F-750 trucks. So more jobs, ladies and gentlemen, are never leaving America and are never coming back. These will be permanent job losses, and these are good, well-paying jobs right here. Ford now has more plants outside the U.S. than domestically. So It's not just going to be the economy. Companies are going to robotics. They're going to import workers, or they're going to export manufacturing plants to other countries. And this means that we're going to have more and more people relying on the system, more and more people reliant on a government check or government subsidy in order to pay their bills or eat. And look, nobody is going to get rich with the stimulus check. Nobody's going to get rich on unemployment. They're giving people just enough. And at some point, they're going to say, we can't do this anymore. And you're going to be on your own. Watch these events that are unfolding right now. Plants closing, people losing their jobs, people going homeless. Watch what is happening in the environment right now, because it is going to affect all of us. And if you don't prepare right now, you're going to be a victim of this. How many people out there right now who, if they lost a job today, would be homeless? If there was no rent moratorium, no mortgage forbearance, if there wasn't a stimulus check, what would you do? What would you do? Millions would be in very, very big trouble. They would be in a place that they never, ever thought they would be. People are unprepared, and they are not going to know how to adapt when this hits them. When they lose a job, when they lose their apartment, when they lose a house, they're not going to know how to adapt. Right now, you've got to be making yourself an asset. You've got to know how to do something. You've got to know how to do something. You're going to have to learn how to adapt to a different environment, because this is not going to stop. This economy is collapsing, ladies and gentlemen, and there are going to be millions of victims. We're going to see things changing in society, socially. We're going to see things changing on the streets of America. We're going to see more crime. We're going to see more closures. We're going to see less jobs. We're going to see less opportunity. We're going to see less wealth. The wealth is all going to the 1%. You have got to get in survival mode and be ready to adapt to this. We are seeing people going back to their old jobs, if they have an old job to go back to, if that company they work for has not gone out of business. But a reinstated job is not a new job. We keep hearing about, all these new jobs. We are not seeing new job creation in America. We're just seeing people going back to their old jobs if they have an old job to even return to. And I guarantee you, and I promise you, we are not going back to what you thought was normal. They talk on the television like everything, like we are going to go into the 1950s and 60s, roaring 20s, greatest economy ever. How can you do that? We've lost 30% of the restaurants in America. We've lost thousands of businesses. We have 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 million people out of work. We don't even know, because they won't even tell us the truth. Please comment down below. What are the real unemployment numbers in America? I would love to know what you think. I think they're anywhere between 40 and 50 million people. And as we get the unemployment numbers, remember, they are excluding people who are no longer seeking unemployment because they've rolled off of looking for a job. So they're no longer included. If you're coming out of school and you're looking for a job, you don't count as unemployed. If you've been unemployed for a certain period of time, you don't count any longer. You might be looking for a job, then you quit. Now you no longer are included as unemployed. If you got a wage cut, you don't count. If you went from 40 hours a week to 15 hours a week, you don't count as unemployed either. So they are just cooking the books here, ladies and gentlemen. So we don't even know how bad it really is. But I can tell you, when I drive around, I can tell you it's not getting better. It is getting worse. I read a while back that 40% of working age Americans are currently not in the workforce. And that is a concerning number. Frightening. But it's a very believable number when you look over the last couple decades how many companies and corporations have shipped jobs overseas or down to Mexico or Canada. We just saw what Ford did going to Mexico. How many jobs were lost by shutting down the economy, jobs that are never coming back. So that's a very, very believable number, and I believe that number is going to get worse. As they supposedly opened the economy up, but what's left to open? And as they are opening the economy up, we're still losing over 700,000 jobs a week. And what's even more concerning is when they do open the economy up, this is the time, the point where Americans are going to have to start paying their bills. Rent, leases, mortgages, phone bills, auto payments, college tuition. Lots of this has been put into moratoriums. Even phone bills. You know, when I pay my phone bill, there's a thing online saying, if you can't make this payment, let us know how much you can make or when you can pay it. I've never, that's been going on for probably the last 6 months. So that tells me that people are not making their phone payments. If people aren't making their phone payments, how are they making their car payment, their rent, their mortgages? I mean, the list goes on. People are in very, very big trouble. But when they open this economy up, at some point, it is going to be time to pay the bills. And this is when I believe we're going to see very, very big trouble. This is when we're going to see the blowback, the financial blowback from closing an economy down in 2020. Look, you cannot think for a second that you can shut an economy down the size of America for 1 year and not believe that there's not going to be massive repercussions, that there's not going to be some sort of financial blowback. There's going to be huge trouble when people are expected to pay the bills, because guess what? Millions got wage cuts. Millions aren't going back to work. Millions are dependent on the government for a check, stimulus, unemployment, benefits, $300 a week, etc. This is going to be ugly, ladies and gentlemen. And at some point, the extensions are going to end, because this cannot go on forever. And when it is time to pay the bills, this is the time when you're going to see big trouble here in America. And I believe that that's going to flow over socially. It's going to be huge economic trouble for America. I think it's going to have a huge effect at that point on the stock market. Listen, the stock market is not immune to reality. When things start blowing up socially in America, when we have an amount of evictions and foreclosures in America, it's going to affect the stock market. And speaking of the stock market, there are those keyboard warriors that love to tell me that, they're just 100% in the stock market and that I'm delusional to be in anything but the stock market. And I was just thinking, where are all these people getting the money to be in the stock market? Are they getting it from their unemployment checks, their stimulus checks, their $300 a week benefit check? Where are they getting the money? I mean, where are all these people getting the money? When I look at the numbers of how many people are unemployed or struggling in America, 80% of America in 2019 was working paycheck to paycheck. So realistically, 10% of this country is really invested in the stock market. 90% aren't. And just because you invest, $200 or $300 in the stock market, I mean, don't tell me to invest in the stock market. I'm completely 100% out of the stock market, except for mining stocks. And to me, that is a gamble. But that's money I'm willing to lose, and I understand that. I understand that they're very risky, and there's a very good chance that I could lose them. But I don't have a majority of my money in mining stocks, whereas a lot of these people have 100% of everything they have in the stock market. I only gamble with the money I'm willing to lose, and that's it. But to these people, are you buying Apple stock today at $120? You buying Tesla at $653 on your unemployment? You buying Microsoft at $230? You going to buy Amazon at $3,000 today? How about Facebook at $278? So, hopefully if you're buying this, I hope it doubles and you make some money. Me, on the other hand, I am buying mining stocks because I'm buying what people don't want, what people are ignoring, and I'm buying what's on sale. Apple, Tesla, Microsoft, Amazon, Facebook, these stocks are not on sale. No way. And of course, everybody's gambling in the cryptos and all these little penny stocks. And You know, God bless you if you are. I hope you make $1 million, and I hope you do really, really well. And if you've made some money, I hope that you're going to protect it and buy some real assets like gold and silver. Here's how Americans said they will spend their latest $1,400 stimulus on the hedge today. Maybe they'll take their stimulus check and maybe buy a half share of Microsoft. I don't know. 34% said they'll put it in savings. 30% said they'll put it in food. 22% said they'll put it in housing. And 18% said they will pay down credit card debt. This is not what they want you to do. This is not what they want. They want you out at the stores. They want you out at Walmart. They want you out spending this stuff. They don't want you saving it. They don't want you buying food. They don't want you paying your debt down. So it's going to be very interesting to see what this $1.9 trillion of stimulus does, because they're hoping that it's all going to go into the stock market. They're hoping that it's all going to go to Walmart and Best Buy and Target and Kohl's, and that people are just going to go out and spend it. They don't want you saving it. They want it flowing through the economy. They want that money velocity. But it's going to be interesting to see if they get the result that they thought they were going to get. Lamborghini reports record profits in 2020, CNBC today. The top 1% are doing great. When you look at what's happening in the auto industry, Ford, General Motors, Toyota, it was a pretty horrific year. And just looking at sales this year, it's pretty horrific. But the 1% are buying Lamborghinis, they're buying Ferraris, they're buying luxury cars. So they're doing great. But as we watch what is happening to the average American, to the middle class, to the poor, it's being absolutely decimated. Dollar General will open more than 1,000 stores this year and expand its Pop Shelf brand. You know, they got everybody hooked on Walmart and how great it was going to be, even though it decimated your cities, wiped out the competition, and now everybody's dependent on a Walmart. And here we go. Dollar General will open 1,000 more stores this year. This should tell all of you and show all of you that the middle class is being decimated. While the 1% are buying Lamborghinis and Ferrari and luxury cars and private jets, the average American is forced to shop at Walmart and Dollar General. So we're watching shopping malls and shopping centers close up at record numbers. The small retailer being wiped out, small medium business wiped out, but the Walmarts and the Dollar Generals are the places now. This is where America is now forced to shop. You're not going to have options, because as the middle class gets more and more poor, as it's being decimated, it's not going to have the option to shop where it wants to shop. Forget about Nordstrom's, forget about Macy's, forget about the malls. Those stores they're on borrowed time. This is the future, Walmarts and Dollar Generals, because the middle class is becoming more and more poor. And this is where we're all going to be forced to shop, ladies and gentlemen. While the 1% are buying Lamborghinis and Ferraris and shopping at the best boutique stores, the masses are going to be forced to shop at places like this. And again, look at the standard of living. Look at how it's decreasing in America. Look where you're going to be forced to shop. Look where many Americans now are forced to shop, because they're looking for the discount. They're looking for the sale because they're on such a limited budget. So it's just another sign of the times. And it's really kind of sad. And I don't have anything against Dollar General. I've actually been there myself. But this is the type of store that is going to surge and prosper in America, because people do not have as much money to spend. So it's going to be the Dollar Generals. It's going to be the Walmarts. This is where people are going to continue to shop to buy products as cheap as they can, because they are on a limited budget, and that budget is shrinking every day. So the 1% continue to buy the luxury items. The middle class, becoming more and more poor, forced to shop at the Dollar Generals and the Walmarts. We're watching the environment change every day, right before our very eyes. And this is what it's all going to come down to. This is where America is going to be shopping. We're not going to have the options to shop at places like we did a decade ago. That's a thing of the past. This is the new world. And in the new world, you're going to buy cheap goods at places like this. And as the dollar continues to lose value, you're going to buy less at these dollar stores. You're going to get less at the Walmarts, less quality and less product for your money. But this is what it's all coming down to. CNBC, Dollar General. It's a sad, sad state of affairs, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to leave it there. But, you know, as I leave you today, I want to leave you with this. 770,000 people filed for first-time jobless claims last week. These people just found out what a crisis is. These people just went into a collapse. So there are people out there that will make fun of people, judge people, laugh this off, say this could never happen to them. I'm here to tell you, please, do not judge people. Do not make fun of them. Any one of us could be in the same situation tomorrow. Things are so volatile right now in this economy, in this country. Any one of us tomorrow could lose a job. Do you have family members to fall back on? Do you have a church to fall back on to, a network? Do you have a cash reserve put away? Do you have assets? When we watch events like this unfold, and again, this is happening every week, and I don't judge these people. My heart goes out to these people. I feel so bad for these people. They are now in a crisis. Their world right now is collapsing. So do not make fun of these people. Do not judge these people. This could be any one of us. This could be a family member. This could be a friend. But it is an example, and it is a warning to you to prepare, because most of these people probably were not prepared. Many of them thought it probably couldn't happen to them. Many of them probably just rubbed it off and just denied that anything bad like this could ever happen to them. And it did. And now they're in trouble. So use it as a reminder. Use it as an example of why you should be preparing. If you lost your job tomorrow, are you going to be okay? Do you have cash put away? Do you have assets? Do you have food and water? Do you have friends, family to fall back on? Do you have a network of people? Ask yourself. Because this could happen to any one of us. And this is just a reminder. Every week when I see this, I just remind myself why I'm doing what I'm doing, why I'm preparing, why I'm making sacrifices in life and putting money away, putting gold away, putting silver away, absorbing knowledge and being awake and just staying on the game plan and being ready to adapt to any environment. It is critical that you be able to adapt. It's critical that you be your own asset. And this world is going to change so quickly. You do not know what you may wake up to tomorrow or the next day or next week. And you need to be able to adapt to it. And if you're not putting some money away, if you're not getting the debts paid down, if you do not have assets, if you do not have a game plan, and an emergency like this comes up, like a job loss, you're going to be in real big trouble. I make these videos to remind every one of you to stay on track. Do not get complacent. The television and the people in the fancy suits continue to tell everybody it's going to be okay. They're getting everybody to be complacent. And this is a fool's game. People are going to be fooled, and there are going to be no do-overs. When this all crashes, it crashed for 770,000 people last week. When it all crashes, all you're left with is what you have, what you're holding. That's it. And if you don't have something right now, what's going to happen if your world crashes tomorrow? Thanks for watching. Give this video a thumbs up. Please subscribe. Share this video with everyone you know, you don't know. Blast it all over social media. Talk to all of you very soon.